I'm Cindy Hamann, and I'm here to share some encouragement with you today. Pastor Jim called me this morning. I put a post on Facebook talking about change and just kind of reflecting during my exercise time this morning about how when we're younger, it seems so much easier to change. And as we get older, we kind of get a little more settled in our life and in a position maybe at work or living in the same place for a number of years, and change becomes a little more difficult, I noticed. And so I started reflecting on, so what is it that makes change so difficult? And I'm just going to look at my notes here because I wrote some things down. One thing that I thought of was fear, discomfort, confusion, not knowing what direction you're going. There are many choices out there. Procrastination and trust. Trust that God has our back, that He has a plan for our lives, and that there's a cost. And I just, as I was thinking about it and Jim asked me to share, I thought, what would be a spiritual aspect of that? And for me, I think about Jesus, and He made the ultimate sacrifice for us so that our lives would be forever changed, that we could accept His forgiveness for our sins, and how difficult it must have been, and the pain and suffering that He went through for each one of us. And it made me kind of think about, our change is pretty minimal compared to that. And but I did think about the church and how change can be difficult. I was raised in the church when only hymns were sung, and you wore your Sunday best to church, and all of that seems to change these days. And I know for some of us it's very difficult. It was hard for me as I started to see the transition into different worship tunes, and but I feel like it made me think about an elderly man that I knew from one of the churches that I attended. And there was a new minister that had come in, young minister, and he was implementing all sorts of changes. And it was very uncomfortable for the church as a whole. And this elderly man, his family was one of the founding families 100 years ago, helped build the church. And he came to our pastor and said he didn't like the noise. He called the worship noise. But he said, Pastor, if that's what brings people into the church, keep on with the noise. I want to see people come to know the Lord. And in his later years before he passed, we had one exceptionally rowdy service. The morning services were a little calmer, but we had an evening service that all the young people came to, and it was pretty rowdy. And he would come on Sunday evenings with earplugs in because he didn't like the noise, but he loved seeing people, young people, coming to know the Lord and worshiping in their own way. And so my encouragement to you today is think about what changes. There's all different changes that we face every day, big and little. What changes do you see in your life? And have you prayed about it and asked God what He sees for that change in your life? And take little baby steps to start making those changes.